The blueprint of ruthless clarity. What if the secret to elite performance wasn't luck or even talent, but a terrifying level of focus established before anyone in the world knew your name? We celebrate the championships, the fadeaways, and the highlight reels, but we need to dissect the engine that built the Mamba. Even as a young man, Kobe Bryant's internal blueprint was defined by two lethal weapons: extreme curiosity and unwavering focus. This man viewed the entire world not as a playground, but as data. Every book, every conversation, every film he watched, it was all filtered through a single, brutal question: does this make me a better weapon? Trivial distractions, casual time wasting, and the noise of pop culture were not simply avoided, they were ruthlessly annihilated. He explained this surgical clarity as his initial advantage. Trivial things weren't going to pull my attention. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. That statement, simple as it is, defines greatness. It means the goal must be so singularly important that everything else becomes irrelevant background noise. This level of surgical clarity is the first, most painful lesson of the Mamba Code. If you tolerate small distractions, you are subconsciously accepting small, compromised results. Your mind must become a vault, guarding its attention for the one, singular goal that defines your destiny. Greatness is not accidental. It is a direct consequence of eliminating every non-essential variable in your life. Ask yourself right now, if you are not achieving your goal, what non-essential pursuit are you tolerating that guarantees a mediocre future? Stop managing distractions, annihilate them. The deal made at 13, a vow to destiny. When did your purpose transition from a passing thought to a non-negotiable command? For the Mamba, the moment of absolute, life-altering commitment wasn't on a draft stage under a million spotlights, but in a silent, powerful promise Kobe made to his own future self. This was a covenant, a deal struck with his destiny at the tender age of 13. He didn't just hope to be great. He vowed to reach the absolute pinnacle. He defined that exact moment, that internal agreement, with crystal clarity. I made that deal with myself at 13 years old. This VOW was his engine. It wasn't fueled by the fleeting motivation of money or fame. It was driven by the profound love of the game and the magnetic, almost terrifying challenge of the impossible. He looked at the legends, the Jordans, the Magics, and felt a fire, a call to prove his potential. His response was the ultimate declaration of self-belief. Can I get to that level? Let's find out. This willingness to test his limits, to embrace the unknown ceiling of his capabilities, is the true definition of a sustainable career. When the challenge itself becomes the drug, when the pursuit of mastery is the reward, the motivation becomes pure, primal, and unstoppable. You must move past simply having goals and make an absolute, life-altering commitment to your craft. That initial, raw love is the single most powerful investment you will ever make in your own success. Stop wishing for greatness. Make the deal with your future self today, and let the fire of the challenge consume every doubt. The world is your specialized library. In the modern age, we are constantly drowning in information, paralyzed by a deluge of content. But the Mamba taught us how to use that chaos for power. Once you define your singular obsession, the entire universe snaps into focus. It stops being a confusing noise and instantly becomes your specialized library, curated specifically for your ascension. Kobe's methodology was to treat every interaction, every piece of media, and every personal experience as a data point to be leveraged. He studied great directors, conductors, and artists, extracting lessons on focus, tempo, and execution and applying them to the basketball court. His focus was so intense, his ability to filter so refined, that he stated the result simply and powerfully. The world becomes your library to help you improve your craft. This is the essence of the CEO mindset applied to personal growth. You are not just working hard. You are leveraging global data to maximize personal output. Every person you meet, every article you read, every setback you experience is immediately filed and processed with the same objective. How does this improve my execution? If the input doesn't serve the core mission, it is ruthlessly discarded. You have to actively hunt for wisdom and knowledge, treating the acquisition of skill as a scavenger hunt for excellence. Stop consuming content aimlessly, passively hoping for inspiration. start filtering the world with the precision of a predator. Your life is your greatest research project. Learn to only extract the data that actively builds your ultimate empire. The strategic hunt, creating your kill list. If you don't know who your competition is, you've already lost the game. Complacency is the silent killer of potential. When Kobe Bryant was in high school and saw his name ranked below other players, he didn't whine about the unfairness. He went straight to work and created a kill list. Every peer above him became a quantified, studied, and marked target for elimination. He recounts the psychological intensity of that early mission. At 13 years old, I had a kill list. I got to hunt them down. This isn't just competition. It's a profound demonstration of strategic intent. Every time he stepped onto the court, he had a clear, measurable mission. Close the gap, expose the weakness of the guy ranked higher, prove the ranking wrong, and establish dominance. This mindset is vital for any field. You must define your competitive landscape and treat the pursuit of excellence as a strategic hunt. The list doesn't have to be people. It can be professional goals, skills you lack, or market obstacles. The core lesson is moving from passive aspiration to aggressive, data-driven execution. If you are comfortable staying put, you are guaranteed to fall behind, because the world is moving while you are static. Define your targets, study their weaknesses, and approach every single opportunity, every single day, with the singular, predatory mission to surpass them. The long game, winning by attacking weakness. Want to know the single greatest tactical difference between a good player and a legendary, multi-decade force? It's the willingness to suck today to become unstoppable tomorrow. This is the lesson of the long game. When Kobe was on the court, he used the high-pressure environment of the game, the very environment where others played to their strengths, to intentionally attack his own weaknesses. He would force himself to attempt the underdeveloped left-hand jump shot or the shaky post move, knowing he might miss, knowing the crowd might groan. But he was playing a game of internal expansion, stating, "I always work on the things during those games that I was weak at." This means he was prioritizing future capability over momentary comfort. While his peers were winning the small, momentary battles with their safe, polished skills, he was expanding his arsenal for the ultimate war, his total domination of the craft. This is a profound lesson in deliberate practice. Mastery requires you to seek out and engage your limitations until they are no longer limitations. If you only practice what you are good at, you will never grow. You will only deepen your current well. You must seek out friction. Stop playing to your strengths when the stakes are low. Force yourself into discomfort now to guarantee that no weakness can be exploited when the ultimate stakes, the championship, the deal, the final presentation, are on the line. The lethal comfort of financial stability. Watch out for the most invisible and lethal trap of professional life, the comfort of financial stability. When Kobe entered the league, he realized his true competitive advantage wasn't just skill. It was the crippling complacency of his peers. For many, the goal was merely reaching a threshold of financial freedom. Once the contracts were signed and the money was secured, the fire went out, the obsession died, and the work stopped. They mistook the reward for the mission. He observed his contemporaries and saw opportunity because, as he put it, the obsessiveness was gone. His internal thought process upon entering the league was a predatory declaration. "I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be like taking candy from a baby." This is a critical warning for every entrepreneur, artist, and professional. If your goal is primarily financial, the moment you hit that number, your drive is extinguished. The pursuit of greatness must be an internal, self-sustaining loop, always focused on the mastery of the craft, not the acquisition of wealth. The moment you define success as a number in your bank account, you have defined your ceiling. The only way to achieve truly revolutionary, generational results is to make the pursuit of excellence your ultimate, non-negotiable end goal. Never let your bank account become the finish line. The true master understands that money is merely the fuel to pursue a greater, more profound obsession. The unspoken cost. Time is the ultimate currency. We must acknowledge the brutal, uncomfortable truth. Extraordinary success requires extraordinary sacrifice. Kobe's level of commitment to his craft meant his relationships suffered. It's the undeniable cost of total immersion. Time, the most precious and limited currency you possess, was surgically removed from social life, vacations, and casual downtime and relentlessly reinvested into training, study, and recovery. He admitted the reality of this trade-off with a heavy weight. Relationships always suffers. You must be prepared to accept this imbalance. If you seek a perfectly harmonious, balanced life, you are guaranteed to achieve normal, balanced results. If you want to achieve things that defy expectation, you must be comfortable with the loneliness, with the necessary sacrifices, and with being misunderstood by those who don't share your vision. You have a choice. Sacrifice the temporary comforts of today for the monumental achievements of tomorrow, or vice versa. The ultimate regret for a dedicated professional is not failure, but the gnawing feeling of having left potential on the table. He provided the ultimate explanation for his drive. I didn't want to have to say I wish I would have done more. Know your non-negotiables. Give your time and energy everything you have, or don't commit at all. The only tragedy is leaving a life of I wish I would haves. Climbing Goat Mountain, the aggressive pursuit of wisdom. No one achieves true mastery in isolation, regardless of their natural talent. You must aggressively pursue the wisdom that accelerates your development. Kobe Bryant's strategy was simple, brilliant, and incredibly humble. Aggressively pursue the wisdom of the elite. He actively climbed Goat Mountain, speaking directly to the champions who preceded him, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. He wasn't asking for secrets. He was asking for their experiences, their discipline, and their level of detail. He explained the profound effect of this mentorship. I went to Goat Mountain and I talked to Magic, Michael, Bird. I started understanding the ins and outs of the game. This acquisition of knowledge allowed him to absorb decades of mastery in months, creating a competitive shortcut past his peers who were relying on trial and error. You must be just as intentional. Stop passively observing greatness from afar. Start actively seeking it out, asking surgical questions, and dissecting the processes of those who have already achieved what you seek. A mentor's wisdom is the highest leverage resource you possess. Your mentors are your strategic shortcuts. If you want to achieve their results, you must first understand their methods, their mentality, and the obsessive detail that governed their daily lives. The airballs, turning humiliation into a blueprint. Imagine failing publicly on a global stage, shooting 5 airballs that cost your team the series in the biggest moment of your young career. The humiliation could be career-ending. But Kobe's antidote to that crushing public failure was a cold, rational lesson we all need. Get over yourself. He recognized that the fear of perception is an act of ego, a distraction from the task at hand. He dismissed the shame with brutal honesty. You kind of got to get over yourself. I think it's not about you, man. Get over yourself. Instead of dwelling in shame, he immediately applied rational analysis to the catastrophe. He didn't blame the coach or the refs. He blamed the fact that his legs were exhausted. The tactical solution was clear, not emotional. I got to get stronger. I got to tailor it for an 82-game season. This is the ultimate lesson in resilience. Do not let emotion block data. When disaster strikes, when you fail spectacularly, you must stop feeling sorry for yourself and start diagnosing the problem. Convert the shame of failure into the actionable blueprint for your next level of success. Your failure is not a final statement on your worth. It is simply data, waiting to be analyzed and corrected. The true failure is not missing the shot, but refusing to learn why you missed it. The fire drill, pain, purpose, and parental example. How do you conquer agony? By finding a purpose that is bigger than the injury. When Kobe suffered the catastrophic Achilles tear, an injury that ends careers, he didn't succumb. Why? Because the fire alarm went off in his mind, and the purpose took over. He explained the mental switch that allowed him to ignore the screaming pain. When the game is more important than the injury itself, you don't feel that damage. This is the powerful principle you must internalize. When the why is massive enough, the how becomes secondary. If you can perform through a 102-degree fever, you can push through mental fatigue or emotional exhaustion. His ultimate motivation in that moment was setting the example for his children. He refused to let the obstacle define him. He recalled his first words in the trainer's room. "Dad's gonna be all right. This obstacle cannot define me." That is the ultimate test of character, refusing to surrender your narrative to a setback. You must lead by example, understanding that someone, your team, your family, your future self, is always watching. When you are tired, when you are stressed, when you feel broken, remember that the obstacle cannot define you. The only way to walk away from your purpose is on your own terms, never because a moment of pain forced your hand. The MAMBA switch in the next 20 years. The MAMBA created an alter ego, a necessary mental switch achieved by channeling the cold, emotionless focus of a strategic villain. This was his psychological key to separating the emotional, human Kobe from the ruthless, performing competitor. He described the process of activating this switch, this stone-cold killer who was impervious to pressure and judgment. I used to play the Halloween theme song over and over, Stone Cold Killer. This powerful separation allowed Kobe Bryant to step into the cage of competition and become the unstoppable force he needed to be. The lesson is that you need a mental switch to transition from your comfortable personal self to your relentless, performing self. Now, his focus has shifted, channeling that same obsessive energy into the next chapter: storytelling, leadership, and empowerment. He seeks the next mountain to climb, the next impossible challenge. He set the tone for his second act with trademark defiance and ambition, declaring, "I'm going to do something in the next 20 years that is better than these last 20. Success is not an endpoint. It is a continuous, obsessive cycle of growth and reinvention. Don't rest on your past accomplishments, no matter how great they were. Commit today to the terrifying, uncertain challenge that will define the next, even greater chapter of your life."